All right, at this time, I'd like to welcome up Beth Turk, who is a ProKids staff member. She is the Building Blocks Program Manager and a CASA Manager, to give our final award.
And I hope you guys stay with me. I know it's hard to stand still for so long. So. It is my great privilege to be able to present the 2015 Merilee Turner Volunteer of the Year Award. Merilee was an amazing volunteer. She did so much to help at ProKids. She served her children at ProKids with openness, objectivity, and kindness as a CASA volunteer. She regularly transported a seriously ill father to see his daughter hours away in foster care, and she developed a great relationship with the children's teachers. Merilee knew what the children needed and did everything she could to fill the void in their lives. And the award winner this year that we are naming tonight continues that legacy. Diane Custer is the 2015 Merilee Turner Volunteer of the Year. She did have knee surgery, and she had knee surgery, how many days? 6 days, 7 days after knee surgery. She was already up at Lakota at a school meeting.
It was a very, very important meeting. I just had to be there.
Yeah, so that just says a lot right there. But Diane is a retired special needs teacher. After 33 years in a classroom, she continued advocating for children as a CASA volunteer and has had 4 cases since she began at ProKids. Like all of our CASA volunteers, every day she advocates for our children to have a safe, permanent, and nurturing home. One of the cases she worked on with me included several siblings. They were surrounded by violence and neglect in their home. Their mother was diagnosed with severe mental health issues, and she was in total and utter denial about the children's trauma. Their father had multiple criminal convictions and a long history of domestic violence and refused to get any help. Despite all of this, the daughter especially missed her mom and wanted to be with her once she was placed into foster care. Even though it became clear her mother would never be able to provide a safe home, we were uncertain that that now almost teenager would ever be willing to allow herself to become part of another family. But with Diane's help, she did. And today she is adopted and living in a forever home. That doesn't often happen with her. Unfortunately, because we're ProKids, so we always have that other side. She also has a brother. She also had a brother who's now 11, and in some ways is the most traumatized.
Yes.
He is behaviorally and cognitively delayed. And for the past 4 years, Diane has been one of the only consistent people in his life. She has forged a vitally important relationship with him, visiting him every month, even though he lives 2 hours away. She was even talking to me earlier about how she may miss a meeting because she didn't think she could talk her sister into driving her car. I know her sister's here, so I think she appreciates her. She advocates constantly for his best interest, and he will continue to need her compassion, creativity, and strong advocacy. This is what makes Diane a great CASA, and we're so lucky because we have lots of great CASAs in the room today. But Diane's impact at ProKids goes far beyond individual cases. She saw that our children needed a good school experience, despite the trauma that they have endured. Diane will tell you every child deserves the best possible education, but education is complicated. She recognized her background as a special education teacher gave her a unique opportunity to help more children and their CASA volunteers. She became one of the founding members of the ProKids education team. This group of volunteers with backgrounds in education help other CASA volunteers ensure that their children get the best possible education services. 3 of them, Diane included, also act as parent surrogates to officially advocate for the children, particularly when specialized services are needed. To understand the needs of each child, Diane goes out of her way to spend hours talking with the CASA volunteers and the CASA managers about the children that they serve. She never loses her enthusiasm for supporting these children. I have known her to be at early morning meetings, sometimes that are as far as 2 to 3 counties away. She finds solutions for children even when their schools have possibly attempted to give up on them. Diane helps to make sure our children receive the interventions they need. She looks for ways to help so that children can be as successful as possible, ensuring that the right members of a school team are at the table, and cheerfully forces the school to do all the log hires. She's so sweet about it. They don't even see her coming. Because of all the trauma in their lives, our children typically fall far behind in schools. It's difficult, as you can imagine, for them to concentrate on school when they're worrying about so many other things. Diane and our other education team members really help. With that help, the ProKids advocacy team has reached our outcome of 98% of our children being on grade level or receiving the services that they need to succeed academically. And that is a very, very important outcome for a children's long-term success. Sue Kirkpatrick, who is here today, is another one of my amazing CASA volunteers. She had a case with 3 children. And she knows, she's here today particularly to celebrate Diane. She knows that Diane made a difference for all of them because in their very short lives, all 3 had been horribly, terribly neglected. At 6, the oldest had never been to school and worse, wasn't even potty trained. Diane made sure the school did what needed to be done, including a summer program to help him catch up. Today, he is 7 and is learning to read. Sue has said Diane's involvement was critical in getting this little boy back on track. Diane's ability to see the whole child, making sure children get the support they need, while also thinking about the children, how the children feel about themselves, is one of the reasons she spends so many hours advocating for ProKids children in the school. Diane, your tireless advocacy has helped many, many children move forward. Please join me in saying thank you to Diane as we present her with the 2015 Merilee Turner.
When they gave me the information about this evening, they said that after I received the award, I could say a few words if I wanted. And my first thought was, no way. I hate public speaking. But then I decided that I did have a few words that I wanted to say. And I'm sure that's no surprise to my family. So I want to thank you very much for this award and for all the kind words. And through my volunteering as a CASA, I have had the opportunity to work with Tracy Cook, Kathy King, and Beth Turk. And as a parent surrogate, I have worked with almost all the CASA managers and many CASAs. And I have found that everyone at ProKids is kind, dedicated, and giving. The ProKids staff is known for making all of its volunteers feel very appreciated. I have a ProKids pen. I have a ProKids mug. I have a ProKids shirt. But there is one gift through my experience is the most important way to say thank you. And I have received that gift many times over. And that is when I stop by or call to speak to the staff regarding a child, they always stop what they're doing and they listen to the question or the concern that I have. And by taking the time to focus on my involvement in the case, shows me not only the importance of my involvement, but also the importance of the child that I'm serving. I'm not sure that they even realize that by giving of this time in this way that they are sending the message that what we do as volunteers is important. That support is the best thank you I could ever receive. I'd also like to thank my family, some of whom are here tonight. My brother Dave, who every day sends an email with an inspirational quote followed by a to-do action, encouraging us all to be better and to do better every day. My brother Tom, the baby of the family, who grew up with lots of joy. He carries that spirit every day, spreading laughter and fun. And my sister Gail, who is always there for me, supporting me, encouraging me, and truly my best friend. And also my two sister-in-laws, Beth and Ann, who tagged along this evening. I appreciate that. You see, my family is very important to me. I believe that it has been the greatest influence in my life. And that is why I have committed my efforts and time to ProKids. I believe that every child deserves a family, whether it's one person or a house full of people that believe in them and value them for who they are. And that's what I believe gives us the strength to be our best selves. I know that some of you will be surprised to know that I did watch the end of the last World Series baseball game. I think it was the Kansas something team that won. But after the game, one of the interviewers asked another, what did that Kansas team do that made them able to be so successful? And he responded, character, attitude, and belief. And that's what all the people at ProKids have. Character, they see that our community can be a safer place for children. Attitude, knowing that they can be the ones to make that difference. And belief, that by improving the life of the children they serve, those children in turn can create a better world. So tonight I accept this honor, not just for myself, but for all those that work tirelessly on the team that we call ProKids.